If there was an equivalent at f4 and had stabilization in it on top of it, I would pay $12,000 for that.
Oh, whoa. All right, welcome back to the latest episode of Game Day Glare. I'm Lance. I'm with E. This is the podcast for sports videographers. How you doing, E?
Good. Yourself?
Yeah, I've been good. Been busy. Quick little trip to TO last week. Got a couple projects here and there. Been going good, and we've been steady on the pod. You've been steady on YouTube. Hockey full season. Other sports have slowed down. But no, everything's kicking into gear, man. Getting ready for some of those Black Friday deals that are coming out soon.
True.
I guess you'll be having, you'll be letting us know what equipment we should be buying on Black Friday.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
Find those gems.
That's it.
But yeah, hopefully there is something good.
Yeah, I hope so.
There always is.
The thing as a sports videographer is a lot of us are gearheads, which is funny. You're not really a gearhead. You don't really like getting new gear. Or when I tell you about new stuff, you're like, yeah, so what? You just like, but I do like getting, I do like getting new gear. But you get to a point where you're like, is that really going to make my life easier? And I pretty much have everything I need gear wise. Like I upgraded my lights. I got another camera. I might get a third camera and maybe another mic, podcast mic, so I can start doing more after that in some of my content packages where I show up to companies and do podcasts for them. Because now that we're experts, what we're like 80 episodes in, 81 episodes in. 81. But there isn't much I need. Is there any equipment you need that you're going to be looking for come Black Friday?
I don't know. It's one of those things where I think when I was like earlier in my career, you everything is new and you don't really know a lot. And so you're buying a lot of little things that are helping you here and there. But it's all sort of budget stuff. So eventually it kind of reaches its ceiling in terms of how much it can help you. So then you get the better version of it. So you're going through those motions of improving your kit, for a while. But at some point, especially for me, when I moved here, I kind of got rid of everything I wasn't using, and I basically went for like top shelf. Like I went like, all right, I'm gonna buy the best lens for this, the best lens for that, the best accessory, and these are just gonna be the things that I run with for the next years. And there's, I'm sure there are like there is a lens I saw the other day, but it's like $3,000. So it's like, is it really that necessary? But it's like a Sony. It's a cinema lens, and it goes like from I think 30 to 300 or something like that millimeters. So it's kind of a wide range. Good for sports. F4. So I was like, oh yeah, this could be cool. It would basically replace, and I'm saying 300, maybe it's less than that. Anyway, I'll double check, or we'll edit it out if I completely missed the boat.
You don't edit our podcast like that.
But yeah, it sounded like a cool thing to have. Would basically replace my, and I think it had stabilization as well. So yeah, it was kind of something interesting, but yeah, very expensive. So it's like, do you really need it? Is anyone going to notice any difference? So you're going to make more money from it? Like all these questions that I kind of know the answer to. So it's like, is it really worth it? But if I sell, like, let's say I sell my, my 35 to 150 Tamron, it kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, for sure. And if it makes your workflow easier, then it's worth it. If you say, I'm going to be okay with that 30 is wide enough and the 300 is definitely close enough, and I only have to bring one lens on these shoots instead of two, then yeah, why not go for it? I mean, that's whenever I'm looking at gear now, I'm like, is it going to make my life easier? Is it going to add value to what I'm producing? And I will admit, like this year when I bought a second camera, like it helped me so much. With my content packages, having that second angle, yes, double the footage, double the stuff to edit, but it gave my videos way more quality. It's really nice having that second angle, to the point where now I'm going to be buying a third one. But when I was buying that second camera, I was debating, do I go, because I had an A7 IV full frame, do I go a crop sensor or a full frame? And I went off full frame. And my next camera too is my third camera will be full frame, because I already have full frame lenses. It makes more sense to that. It's already higher quality. So like you now, I'm also trying to get the top stuff, top tier stuff the first time, because on this podcast I mentioned many a times that sometimes I've cheaped out and bought cheap mics or bought cheap stuff, and I end up having to rebuy that stuff anyway later on. So let's just buy it once. Yes, pay the higher price right away, but know that I'm getting the value, the quality day one, and not have to buy it
Yeah.
again. Like you.
Okay. Yes, but update. I looked it up. I way overestimated the zoom range on the lens. It's actually a Sony full frame 28 to 135. So it's an f4 power zoom. That's also the thing that I thought would kind of be cool. That you don't have to zoom on the lens. You can actually use the rocker on the camera. Yeah, f4. It has stabilization. So basically, it would replace my Tamron. So like my 35 to 150, which is 2 to 2.8 though. So it's one of those things, but it doesn't have stabilization. That one has power zoom as well. 28 is kind of a little bit better than 35 when it comes to these. Like if I'm filming basketball, for example, I'm thinking this lens, and I film at f4 most of the time anyway. So yeah, I'm thinking this could replace my Tamron, and I'd be quite happy with it. But it is Canadian $3,300.
Wow.
So
And the Tamron is $1,000 cheaper and does
yeah.
the same thing. Stabilization. Why? That's one thing that I don't like about all these lenses, though, is stabilization should be added to more of these lenses. Like, I don't think it's that complicated to make them stable. I think it's just a way to boost the price. But while you're looking at that lens, then would you consider getting the 50 to 150 or a Sony 2.0, or is that just way out of your price range at 5K Canadian?
Well, yeah, it is very expensive, but to me, it's the 50 that bugs me, because like one of the things I like about that, the one I just mentioned, is that it goes down to 28. I really like filming wide. The older I get, I guess, I don't know, but I really like, I think, like, being up close and having still kind of, context, and having like a wide shot and having my subject in the middle. I like being able to create kind of a cinematic shot, and you need to be able to see something else than just your subject. So especially with sports like basketball, where you're filming from the baseline, or even like just I was filming like soccer. I mentioned last week, like I was filming soccer last week, and it's great when they're away, but like when someone's coming up close, this is like your money shot. So if you're too tight, it kind of ruins it. So yeah, being able to film from up close and still have enough room to kind of see everything that's going on, it is kind of my priority now when I'm buying a lens. So that's why I love the 16 to 35 so much. But yeah, obviously has its limitation for outdoor sports.
So you're
Yeah.
looking for like a 16 to 200. That's what you want. That would be your perfect range.
Oh yeah, if I filmed for years with an 18 to 200 kind of budget lens, like with a variable aperture. If there was an equivalent at f4 and had stabilization in it on top of it, I would pay $12,000 for that.
Oh, whoa, $12,000.
Oh, because think about it, like
We won't have
18
them
to
price it
200.
like that. They'll come out with the price like that. No, I would pay
But like,
$2,000.
but like 18 to 200 stabilization,
Yeah,
constant aperture, that lens is never leaving my camera ever.
it
What I
solves
mean?
all your
Like I
problems.
can,
It's
yeah,
one lens to rule them all. Like,
exactly.
we always see these YouTube videos of one lens to rule them all, but that really would. It
I
would
make
cover
one.
it would cover all your focal ranges. Honestly, it really would.
Yeah, exactly. So like, obviously if I'm making like a nice interview or something like that, I would switch. But for sports, all your problems are solved. Like indoors, outdoors, doesn't matter if I'm on the baseline, the sideline, goal line, like I'm using that lens all day. So it's like it would be perfect. And yes, I would be willing to pay more, because I could get rid of my 70 to 200. I could get rid of a lot of lenses and make up for it that way.
I use a lot of variable lenses, and I want, like, when I do an interview, I would ideally love to shoot with a prime lens,
Yeah,
but I don't
like I'm
have
doing
one.
right now.
Yeah, I don't have a prime lens, and it's like I don't really need one for what I'm doing. The variable ones I do, they hit the focal range I need. And sometimes if I'm, switching subjects or someone's coming in the seat after, I could just adjust it accordingly instead of moving the tripod, moving all the stuff, or cropping in post.
Yeah,
It saves you time like that.
yeah. No, the only like real gain from like the prime lens. Well, first of all, they're usually like unless you get
They're
the
sharper.
Sony one, like they're sharper because they're made for that one specific focal length. So everything is just better because they don't have to deal with the constant change. So everything it does less, but it does what it does really well. And it's usually not that expensive because the zoom lenses are more expensive because they're more complex, obviously. But it allows you to go lower with your f-stop. So if you're doing an interview, something like that, like it's nice to be able to go to like 1.6, 1.8 sometimes, which you can't really do with a zoom lens. So
All right. So since we kind of mentioned Black Friday and we kind of, mentioned sales and stuff like that, it got me thinking. So I have a lot of subscriptions. And it seems that I bought a lot of these subscriptions around Black Friday because I guess I got promo codes and all that. So I'm in the midst of organizing all my subscriptions. And all of a sudden I realized, like, I have a lot of subscriptions. So today we want to talk about, are your subscriptions helping you or are they hurting your sports videography business? Because as a sports videographer, you're probably juggling like up to 10 and you don't even realize. So we want to kind of go through what we have, you and I, what we feel like we need, what we don't really need, and what we think could be a good subscription for someone starting out or someone out there. So how do you want to break it down, E? You want me to name off mine first? Do you want me to say what I paid for, what I actually think is worth it? What do you think? Because I do
yeah, well, we
pay
can
for a
do it
lot.
that way, or we can just name them one after the other and say what we each think
All
of
right.
them.
So first I'm going to start off easy. Subscriptions that we can technically write off. There is no real write off when you own your business. We think there's a write off, but it all comes out of my bank account. You have your entertainment subscriptions. Okay. Places where I go to unwind, places I go to get,
Is that where you're
some
starting? I
some
thought you were
fresh
gonna say
ideas. Yeah, I'm
like,
starting with that one.
I
I'm
thought you were
starting
gonna
right
say
away.
Adobe or
No,
like something like that.
Netflix, Disney,
Netflix.
Prime. I do you
I
have
like it.
these subscriptions? I do. I have all three.
Yes, I have Netflix pretty much permanently, but the other ones I kind of I'll go in for a few months, then I'll come out, and I kind of dance between Prime and Apple TV. So these are the two that are constantly switching. And in Prime, sometimes I'll like with the baseball playoffs, I had Sportsnet, so I can get the baseball, like things like that. But then I cancel it as soon as it's over. But because I don't like sports.
You're one of those
But
guys who canceled HBO when Game of Thrones ended. You're like, all right, I'm done. I'm out.
yeah, we'll never watch the Game of Thrones, but yeah, I'm with my TV system. Well, especially like something like Apple TV. I think like they produce great series, but there's not that many of them. Like it's not like they've got new content coming out every week like Netflix does. So it's like you have it for a couple months, 3 months, you watch everything you want to watch, and then you know cancel, wait a few months, then go back when there's new stuff. That's how I do it.
Amazon Prime, you get the TV for free when you have the service for Amazon Prime, like for ordering stuff and that. So for a business,
Yeah,
it's worth it. It's like because I order
yeah, that's
a
true. And
lot of
saying that, I
gear.
think
Yeah,
yeah.
I ordered a lot of gear because I'm too lazy to go to the store. Like if it's the same price at the store, then I'm just going to order on Amazon
Hmm.
because it comes to my house. I don't have to go to the store because when I go to the store, I will buy other stuff that I do not need. So it's easier to just order it on Amazon Prime. All right. Next up, Chat GPT. Would you pay for that or do you pay for that?
I do pay for it, but not like I don't really use it that much in terms of like writing stuff because I don't have that much. Well, I do have my videos like they're a bit scripted, like in my own words, but like I like to know what I'm going to say before I start recording. but I use it more for my thumbnails. It's like I'll take a photo, or I'll use like a photo that I already have, and then I'll use ChatGPT to kind of enhance it, like create like a background that kind of makes sense. So I'll just take a photo in front of a random wall, but then I'll say like, put me in this context doing that sort of thing. And then they'll do a terrible job, and I'll ask the same question a different way, and then I'll do it like 3 or 4 times. Then usually it gets to a point where it's like 60, 70% there. So I'll take that photo, bring it into Photoshop, and then finish the last 30% myself. That's
So
my
you're like, I
methodology.
do not want 6 fingers in this picture.
Exactly. Or like just like a sweater like this one, like the letters would be all weird, and it'd be like it wouldn't be that word, with whatever word that is. I think it's the brand of that thing. But yeah, it's struggling with fingers and with letters, with words. So the yeah, you have to fix a few things, and my face also gets changed a bit in the process. So sometimes I have to readjust a few things, and adjust the colors, make it pop a bit more, things like that. So and if the background, because usually the background is like is not, there's going to be a portion, like if I want to add text, like I'll move the picture to the left, and then I'll recreate the missing space, and then I'll add text over it. So I'll do that. I'll do all that in Photoshop, because if I ask ChatGPT to write text on a thumbnail, it's going to be the most boring font ever, and there's probably going to be a spelling mistake and all that sort of stuff. So I always say like, no text, like I'll do it myself afterwards. So yeah, I do pay like $25 a month, I think, just because you could do this for free, but I think like after five, is it 5 or 10, like after a certain amount of attempts in 24 hours, it stops for images, and not for text. But for images, like you only get like a certain amount of requests per day, so then you have to wait to the next day to keep going. So I figured like I'll just pay for the $25 and get that done, because usually it's like on the day that I want to create a thumbnail, like there's a lot of back and forth going. So yeah, I don't want to make this a 3-day process.
So I also have a Chat GPT, and I even said it right this time, because whenever I say it to E,
Yeah.
I always say it wrong. I always say GTP. I don't know why.
Yes.
Um, it's a great tool. I pay the $25 also. There is a new version, like a business version, that's $30 now a month. That's supposed to add more stuff, more video, more photos, and that. I haven't upgraded. I use it as a personal assistant. I do brain dumps. I do brainstorming. Um, I'll write out a raw email drafts. I'll say, "Hey, can you update this?" Or 9 out of 10 times, if you know me, I'm like, "Can you just check the spelling?" Because I am awful at spelling, and I try and type fast, and I type all kinds of wrong words. So I get to double check stuff like that. But I really use it as a personal assistant. It is a great tool. And I think it's becoming a necessity, especially, everyone is using it. So why not use it? Say like a year ago, if you asked me, I'd kind of be reluctant to even admit that I was using it. It was like a faux pas. But no, now you need it for your business. So yes, I have.
Ozempic.
Yeah. Actually, I'll bring up the next one that I used to be embarrassed to tell people I had. The next, I'll skip, but Motion Array. Okay.
Oh yeah.
When Motion Array first came out, by the way, I do pay for Motion Array. When Motion Array first came out with templates and all that, as a video editor, it was almost frowned upon that you're using a template. And it was like, oh wow, what'd you do this graphic? I'm like, oh yeah, I just found it. All right. You didn't want to tell people that you're actually using Motion Array. I'm talking like 10 years ago. Like I had Motion Array when no one even knew what it
It
was.
wasn't even cool.
Exactly. There wasn't like a reel every 10 seconds on my YouTube about Motion Array, but it is so handy. You got templates, you got music, you got graphics, you got everything you need right then and there, especially if you're in a pinch and you don't feel like, as a videographer, it is impossible to feel creative 24 hours a day. I guarantee you will be working on a project and you will hit a roadblock. He would be like, I want to do something here, but I don't really know what to do. And if you go on Motion Array, even if you do not use a template, you will get an idea of what you can do. So it's an amazing tool, and I pay for Motion Array. You?
Well, I do use it, but I get it for free because I have
Because
a
I'm me.
business relationship. Sorry, being honest, I'm not gonna lie and say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I pay for it." But yeah, I do have a business relationship with because it's the same company as Artlist. So yeah, I get Artlist Motion Array in the deal. But yeah, I think like templates, especially when I started. When I started my business in Australia, I was like, I didn't really know much about After Effects. So it was a great way when I was doing these hype reels, like they want to have like text, like just like, you know, one liners. It was kind of like a movie trailer a lot of the times, especially back then. Like that's what we were doing. It's like opener video for that plays right before the game. So there's like action and then there's that one line and then action, one line, just like a movie trailer. So that line, that text, I would get like a template. Back then it was Envato. I don't know if you ever used that one. Market. So you would pay, it wasn't a subscription. You would buy a template for like $25 or $50 or $40, and you would just buy that one. And so I would do that and then go into After Effects and just instead of using the entire, like let's say the template was for like a 30-second promo, I just liked the way the text appear in a few of those scenes. So I would just go and just export that one scene with the text that I wanted to use for my thing. Maybe I changed some colors or something about the background, maybe remove a few of the things that are a bit over the top. And that was my way to add graphic animation to my videos as someone that was starting. So I wasn't charging like a lot. I couldn't afford to hire someone to do the graphics, but it was still something that to my clients looked very decent and professional. It was just I was kind of crossing my fingers that they weren't going to ask for like changes, you know, specifically about those sections that would necessitate like me having like skills that are beyond the template. So yeah, it was a bit of a let's hope that they don't want to change something specific about the background or the way the words are animated, things like that. But it helped me create like a professional looking package, even though I didn't really know. And also it helped me learn because I go in and try to change the animation of certain words. I go in trying to change the background, and by doing that, playing around with those templates, I learned After Effects, and then I got deeper and deeper in it, and then I got to a point where by watching YouTube videos and things like that, I was able to start my own projects and do my own thing. But yeah, all that to say that the templates are very very helpful, especially when you're starting. And now it's more when you want to save time, I guess, but they are used like we spoke to CM Da Vega, who says like a lot of times like the broadcasters will use them to create, you know, the whether it's like all these slides that you see coming up, often they come from a template that they modified and made their own, and you know gave it the colors of the broadcaster and stuff. But they do use templates at the professional level too. Like it's not just a beginner's thing. But the good thing about Motion Array, to stop my 5 minute rambling about it, is that not only you get templates, but you get footage, you get sound effects, you get all these other things that complement all that. So I go there a lot when I need stock footage for my videos, like more for my YouTube stuff. Like if I want just like a reaction of someone that's looking at a screen. And I think I used one in one of my latest videos where it's like, I'm talking about people leaning in when watching your videos, and I'm showing this stock footage of someone like watching an iPad and going like, "Ooh!" So it's just like little things like that. It's helpful, but there's like for sports, obviously, if you're making a video about a specific game, there's not going to be a lot of stock footage that can help you. But if you are creative about it, where like I know last week we talked about sound design and like let's say a revving engine sound, maybe it starts with the players and then with the player and then it transitions to an actual car sort of, you know, drifting or starting or something like that. And so you can use stock footage for those things. And then sound effects, obviously very helpful for our videos. because even if you do have a sports sound effects pack, you might want these extras that are not included, that are not typical sports sound effects. So yeah, they're definitely a good subscription to have because it takes care of everything. So yeah, if I wasn't involved with Motion Array, I would definitely pay either for them, or I know there's like Storyblocks, there's other options, but I would definitely have like one subscription that allows me to have access to all these things.
I'm just gonna like to say this episode is not sponsored by Motion Array yet. Yet,
Should
maybe
be.
after they see this one, they might say, "Hey guys, you know what? We want to sponsor," but right now they're not. The only thing that I always had a challenge with using these After Effects templates was they're all different. So you have to kind of become like this guru of finding things in these templates that you want to change, because people make these templates and nobody makes them the same way. I do wish that on some of these sites, when you did go into like an After Effects template, everything was kind of labeled the same. They do a pretty good job where it's like assets, edit, comp. That's good. But sometimes when I'm looking to just change the color and it's like a nice, easy fix and I cannot find it anywhere and it's like 18 layers deep, well, that's where it's a little tricky, you know. But what a
Yeah.
great tool. All right, next up.
What to
Yeah,
add to your bitching
yeah.
session? I'd say the one thing that annoys me is more the fact that because it's become so popular. There's a lot of people creating these things, so there's a lot of you have to go through a lot of garbage to find the gems. Like there's a lot of you know what I mean? Like there'll be like 25 options that are basically doing the same thing, and almost feels like someone copied someone who copied someone who's they just took someone's template, changed it a little bit, and then tried to sell it, sort of thing. So there's yeah, you have to go through a lot of a lot of noise to find what you're looking for, which back in the day when it was less popular, it was easier to just go straight to what you need. But
I do get a kick out of it though when I'm watching TV and I see like a logo or something. I'm like, oh, I've used that template before. You know, and you're like, yes, okay, I'm not
yeah.
alone. You know. Um, Next up, Adobe Creative Cloud. Yes, I pay for it. Yes, I use it every day. Do I feel like the price reflects on what I'm getting? I don't know anymore, man. That price keeps going up, going up. I will say though, Adobe is coming in strong with new updates.
Yeah,
Uh,
no.
so it's feeling like that price is actually getting closer because it will let you cancel some other software. I mean, the rotoscoping they're adding, voiceover text tools. You can even change a voiceover now in your thing by texting it, and they'll have it fix the lips and everything. So hopefully, with all these new add-ons, we will be able to get rid of some other subscriptions. But
It's true.
Adobe subscription, Creative Cloud, I use it every day. I pay for it.
Same, and I do pay for that one, unfortunately, which is probably the most expensive. Not probably, definitely the most expensive subscription I have. So yeah, and like you said, like we don't really use it to its full potential, but yeah, After Effects, Premiere Pro, obviously for me, Audition, Photoshop. Do I use anything else? Well, there's the one that you can batch export. It's called Media
Medium
something.
encoder, yeah, medium encoder.
Yeah, that one I can use sometimes if I'm working for clients, especially when you're exporting headshots, like yeah, like an entire team. Like it's just yeah, go through media encoder. But yeah, it's very expensive for what it is. But once you're in that ecosystem, it obviously yeah, it works great, and it's yeah. But like you said, I think for years, probably a decade now, they've been pretty lazy with the updates. Like it wasn't necessarily there were updates, but nothing that I was too excited about, except for maybe when they started adding like the caption stuff and the essential sound and things like that. But now it looks like they've actually, realized that they need to step up their game if they want people to keep paying for it. So now they bought Film Impact and then included all their effects in there by default. And I saw like a bunch of stuff like online with like yeah, rotoscoping and all that sort of stuff that's going to be integrated. So it feels like Premiere is getting to a point where you don't really need After Effects that much. Unless you're doing like 3D stuff, like really specific, like high end graphic animation. Like I think you're going to be able to do most of the stuff that you now do in After Effects in Premiere, which is always good for someone like me who's kind of okay with After Effects, but definitely better in Premiere. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I mean, it's going to be a game changer if everything works properly. Now you can use some of those features in the beta download right now. I haven't upgraded. I'm still on 25.3 or whatever. I haven't upgraded where I get those new transitions yet. There are some good new transitions though that actually animate the text and kind of pop them up and float them and that all automatically. Have you upgraded yet?
Yeah, I did. Like, yeah, I have all the new transitions, which is funny because those transitions technically are not new. Because I used to buy them. Yeah, because like Film Impact, it was like a separate company, and they would create effects and transitions and stuff like that. And it was back in the day, it was like a $40 or something like that, and you could buy a pack. So there was like different. There was like 3 or 4 packs that you could buy, and I bought them. Like I don't know if I had all of them, but I had most of them. But then they switched to like which is to the point of this episode, they switched to a subscription model. So it's like now you have to pay X dollars per month to have access to these effects, and it's like, I don't use them every week or every month. It's like, am I really going to pay a subscription? Like if I use that effect in a video that I might go back to later, now I'm stuck paying a subscription just so that effect keeps working. I was like, dude, like I'm painting myself into a corner here where like it's ridiculous. So I just stopped and never used them again. And so it's fun that now
They're back
finally
in your life.
yeah, they're all back in my life. I'm like, I missed you, blur dissolve. I've been using adjustment layers for the past 10 years. Now I can just put that transition there.
What was the other one?
But
Volumetrics. Remember, it was like the lights. It would be like you'd have a logo and it'd be all lights. I used to use that one all the time. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, there's a bunch of ones. Like they're not obviously probably almost at least 60% of them I'll never gonna use, but there's like a 30 to 40% that can be very handy and yeah, and save you a lot of time and look good in the right context.
I'm always skeptical of updating my Premiere Pro. Like I always wait a little bit. But
Yeah, no, me too.
when I saw the updates, I was like, it's something that I will be doing in the near future. All right. Next subscription we pay for, this one, Riverside. This is how we record all our podcasts. I'm very happy with Riverside. We started off on a promo discount for the first year. It was very, very good. The second year price went up. They're constantly updating stuff. They're constantly giving us new features. They're constantly sending me emails telling me about these new features, seeing how I like using the service. There's also an affiliated program with them too. Listen, we get to record this in 4K. E and I picked this platform because we want to do a weekly podcast, but with our schedules, it is hard to actually sit down face to face and record because we have this tendency where sometimes we chat longer than our actual podcasts are before and after. So it would take up the whole day if we actually did this in person. So logging on is very, very easy, very, very convenient. And it's very, very clean, man. Very, very clean. I'm very
Yeah,
happy.
and we live in the same city, and people assume like same city, we're 5 minutes apart, but like no, it
We're
would
an
be
hour.
at least. Yeah, but like driving there, driving back, while you're there, you're not gonna just show up, do a 45-minute podcast and leave. Like it would obviously be like at least like a 2 hour thing. So that's 4 hours. So it's yeah, I don't know if the podcast would be still alive if we were trying to do it live every week, or at least it wouldn't be as consistent. That's what that I think there would be a lot of gaps in that schedule.
That's it. So Riverside helps us stay consistent, and it's a great tool. And you know what? It works really, really well for our guests. Because even our
Yeah,
guests, we tell them, "Hey, when can you log on? When can we do this?" It doesn't inconvenience them. They don't have to fly to Montreal. We don't have to fly to them. It's all online, easy peasy. So Riverside, we pay for. Next up, Opus Clip is a new software that we started using to give us clips from our podcast. We pay for this. It's not that crazy expensive. it does a pretty good job of clipping and titling. We do have to do some manual editing too, and update the text. And it can never say the word "e." It always calls you something else, and I'm constantly changing your name. But right now, it's a software we pay for that's helping us stay more consistent on social media. What's your thoughts about that, E? Because these are shared ones, by the way. Riverside and Opus clips, they're shared ones that E and I have through our podcast.
I think they're good for like Opus Clip. I think is good for shows like this for podcasting. I don't think it would do a great job at clipping like a YouTube video, like the ones that I do on Beyond the Game, for example. Like there's just too much going on, and the edit would feel like there's a lot of cuts and like rough cuts that sometimes, especially in the audio, would sound very weird. Especially because I have music and stuff in my videos. Here, like it's first of all jump cuts when you're watching
Yeah,
a
we want jump cuts.
podcast clip on a reel or something is very common. It's normal. It's expected. But yeah, I think for talking heads video, it's perfect. I wouldn't use it for like I wouldn't expect to put like a game recap in Opus Clip and get all these great reels out of it. But for talking heads, yeah, it does the job. But like you said, we'll always need to fine tune like the start or the end or like trying to make it like a better sort of finished product. But it saves you from like spending hours going through the sequence and trying to find moments that, and then you don't have to, it does all the captioning automatically, so it does save us a lot of time.
And it has cool features. You made us babies, you made us pandas. I noticed you've been using a new
Oh, that
one.
was Riverside actually.
Oh, it was Riverside. Sorry. What about the
Yes.
new one you're using where it has like the intro? Is that on Riverside or is that on Opus?
Intro.
Where it's like a sports videographer's journey to
Oh, no.
excellence.
That was in Instagram. Like
Oh,
I
it was on
basically
Instagram.
added a voice, so you can do like text to voiceover.
Oh, I thought.
So basically, because the first part of because basically there was like not enough context to the set to the clip, so I wanted to either write it down, just saying like this is the context of what I'm talking about. But then there was this part at the start that I was rambling that wasn't really necessary, so I was like, I'm just gonna mute it and just put the voiceover. So I did that in Instagram. Yeah.
Because Opus has also. I will say though, Riverside and Opus both have clipping options. Even Riverside will make us clips of our podcast, subtitle it, and everything for us. We just went with another party because we seemed at the time to it was working better, but it's constantly evolving, and that's the thing with all these AI softwares, right? Is they're constantly changing. So it's like, do you need a subscription monthly, yearly? That's up to you and how much you trust it. Next up is one that I never thought I'd have a subscription to, Canva. So I come from a design background. I actually have a certificate in desktop publishing and graphic design. I took that at Concordia when I was in communications. And when people tell me, yo, I made this logo in Canva, part of the snob in me frowns at them and it's like, you didn't use Illustrator, you didn't use Photoshop, you didn't use the Adobe suite. And like, no, I use Canva. And graphic designers nowadays on job sites on LinkedIn and Indeed and whatever, they're saying, do you know how to use Canva more than do you know how to use Adobe? And I started working with clients that would give me graphics and they were in Canva. So I had no choice but to get Canva. But now I make all our thumbnails in Canva. I do quite a bit of stuff in Canva because it saves me time. It's not the best software, but one thing I will say about Canva is they are constantly updating, they are constantly adding, and they are constantly listening to what people need. So I do feel like it is worth the subscription that I pay for, my company pays for. Do you have Canva?
No, I don't. I've never really. I think I used it once to help to do like something for my nephew's birthday, like an invite thing. But but that's it. So I understand that like for a lot of people, now it's probably evolved, like you said, because it keeps growing. But I remember when I was in Australia, the the people that I was working with, instead of bothering me or someone else every time they needed like a slide to go on the screen, just for like a uh, whether it's an ad for a sponsor or something like that, they were able to just themselves go in Canva and just because it was the same background for everything, so it's just using the right background, the right font, and they would make it themselves. So basically, for someone who's not like a Photoshop expert, or doesn't know anything about Photoshop, or doesn't have access to Photoshop, Canva seemed like the easy way in. It was kind of like the CapCut of graphics, where you could go in and easily figure it out and do something that looks professional. So I don't knock it by any means. I'm curious to know what's the difference between the free version and the paid version, though.
It's the add-ons, different effects, different templates you have available to fonts, stuff like that. So of course, all the cool stuff that you want is in the paid version, and everything else is locked off. But you can adjust. Yeah, I mean, I had the free version for like a year. I was using it before I got the paid one. It was just to the point where one of the companies I was working for used an actual paid template, and I didn't want to ask them for their login, so I just bought it. Because sometimes when you work with people, they will supply you stuff. Like I worked with a company that had a login for Envato, and they were really insistent on using Envato elements. And they would just give me their login and say, "Here, we want you to download these following clips, blah blah blah." And having subscriptions are easy too. Like I've worked with clients, and I'm like, "Hey, listen, they didn't like the music or anything. I'll send them my motion array, and I'll say, here, this is what I'm looking at, the genre. Pick out a song you like, and we'll adjust from there." And it is handy having these tools and figuring out ways to use these tools to your advantage. Now, those are pretty much the big subscriptions. I do have other subscriptions, like I have a Google Drive. I'm an Apple Music guy. I'm not a Spotify guy. But these are all things that we do need. Well, I need Apple for other reasons, but I like Apple Music. It's fine. I got no problem that. I don't pay for Dropbox though, and I don't. I used to use WeTransfer all the time. I don't use WeTransfer anymore, but I do pay for iCloud and Google Drive. Do you use any of them? Do you use like Frame.io or Google Drive or Dropbox or any of those?
I use Google Drive. Yeah, just added space, because I think when you have like a Google account, it comes with I don't know what the free minimum is, but
15 gigs or something?
something like that. So you can either create like a bunch of accounts and spread your stuff around, or you can
Is that
spend.
what
It's
you
not
do?
that expensive. No, I think I did that at the beginning, but now I think like for $100, I think you get like 200 gigs or something like that for $100 a year, or even less. No, I
Yeah, I
think
think I pay like 45 bucks or something for 200 gigs,
yeah,
or
I think
35 bucks,
100
something like that.
sounds expensive. So yeah, it's not that expensive, and I find like Google Drive. I was using Dropbox before, and I found like Google Drive is easier. It's more fluid. Like I had issues with Dropbox. Like basically, once you have files that are bigger than 2 gigs, Dropbox becomes very like there's a lot of issues. Like you basically have to use, that's what I realized with trial and error, is that you have to use the desktop version, where you download the Dropbox like desktop software, and you upload your stuff through that. If you just try to go on your browser and drag and drop stuff or download stuff from there, you'll get all sorts of issues where you'll wait, especially if you got bad internet and you're waiting like hours for a file, and it's just at the end that it's just that you realize that it's not working. It's very frustrating process. So yeah, Google Drive is just a lot easier to manage, and everybody's got Chrome or something. So when you're sending a file to a client, for them to watch it is a lot easier as well than Dropbox. So I kind of like it for that reason, for those reasons, I should say.
The only issue that I ever have with Google Drive is like when I'm sharing something, is to take off that tab and be like, share anyone who has the link or whatever.
Yeah. You got to
Especially when
remember,
you
yeah,
send to
the link.
clients, you don't realize that the first couple times that you send to a client, they send to someone else for someone else's approval, and they're like, I can't open the link. So once you do that, you're good. Is there any other tools that you use that I didn't mention in my subscriptions that you have? Like I know you have Artlist
Uh,
also, but that's a
Yeah,
combination with
I've
Motion Array.
Artlist, yeah, music. I've Epidemic Sound as well, which is music, same as Artlist, which I'm now starting to think that I should probably get rid of, because back when I started, Artlist wasn't really at the same level as Epidemic Sound in terms of variety, and also having stems and all these different options, and now they're pretty much on par with each other. So yeah, I don't know if I'll keep it next year around, but I still have it. What else do I have? It's a good question. Subscription wise, I think that's it. I'm sure after this, like as soon as we stop recording, I'll remember something. But
Is there
yeah,
anything that
no, I
you
can't think of
canceled
anything.
that you were like, you bought it and you're like, it's not worth it?
Well, those effects, those film impact effects that are now back in my life. Um, like I said, with the TV ones, I kind of go around and try to make myself feel like it. Who wants to woo me this month, sort of thing.
Because
But
there's so many things we could get, right? There's so many things out there, especially now with the AI rave. There, there's just every week you can subscribe to new stuff and it's supposed to do a new thing. But do you actually need what they're offering, and will you actually use it? Now,
yeah,
there are other um, platforms that creators are using. You want me to kind of name them off? Like,
yeah, maybe there's one in there that'll be like, oh yeah, I paid for that.
so CapCut, people pay a subscription for CapCut. We have Adobe, so we don't need to. Then you have Artlist, Epidemic Sound, Music Bed. They're all licensed sports stuff. We have that with Motion Array in that. Envato Elements you brought up before. So that is another place that you can, it's like a motion array kind of thing. You can get templates, Photoshop. It's a little laid out a little bit differently, but they have a lot of stuff. They have also a lot of like after, sorry, InDesign templates, Illustrator templates, stuff like that. They have everything where Artlist, Motion Array, it's more focused on videographers, where this is where Envato is focused on graphic design, everything graphics. Um, Topaz AI is an interesting software that I've looked at before, but man, is it expensive. It's more expensive than the Adobe suite, but you could do some crazy stuff with it. Like you can take old images, it will re-add pixels, it will enhance your video. And those are just the features that I look for, but it does a lot. Now, maybe that's something that people really feel like it's worth it. There's also organization tools like Trello, Notion, project planning, that we do need and can use. I don't use any of them.
I use Trello.
Do
Yeah,
you?
I
Yeah.
use Trello for my weekly
Do you
schedule.
send it to clients though and show them the process
No, no,
of a
no, no. It's
project or
just for
anything?
me. It's
Just for
like
you.
my agenda, basically. It's just my, keep track of like what I have to do today and this week, and also I'll have a separate one for like just long term goals and things like that. So yeah, it's more of a to organize my schedule.
Okay. There's also now Descript that's been popping up a lot for me, where it's offering like editing services, kind of, and I looked into it. It's not there yet. At least what I found. You could drop in clips. It's gonna add B-roll. It's gonna add some sound effects and that. But it's very generic. It's very you didn't do it. It's not really creative. Where you could spend 15 minutes and do it yourself. But if you're time poor and you put out a lot of content, it could be worth it for you. For me, right now, it's not.
No, I agree. I think it's very like I think Opus Clip has that option of like creating B-roll for you, but like often, first of all, it has to be like a very generic topic. I think sports is a little bit too complicated because it has to be so. If we're talking about a specific game, it has to be that team. Like you can't just show a random guy playing soccer. So it doesn't really work for what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, even for the people who are like, if I'm talking about a dog and you're showing me some generic dog, like how cool is it really? Like I don't know. It's a bit. I think I like where it's going, but it's not there yet. Like,
No, no, exactly. Now, so I'll ask you, all these subscriptions we asked, are they really saving you time or do you kind of get lost in some of them?
well, I've got the luxury of like not paying for a bunch of mine, so it's not, it's there. They're there. If I need them, I use them. Like you're talking about, like I was thinking about subscriptions that I have. Like I have like what's it called, AI, which is to remove like noise in your audio or to separate your audio into different stems. Like I use it maybe twice a year, And when I do need it, like if I recorded myself talking at a sporting event where there's a bunch of noise and there's music and I just can't hear myself, I put it through that and it does a great job. But I don't really need it that much. Would I pay a monthly subscription for it? No, but I would pay when I do need it. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I only lock myself into a yearly subscription when it's something that I definitely use like all year round. Where like obviously my website hosting, for example, all these things, like it's not like my website is going anywhere
I
in the
forgot
next
about
few
that
years.
subscription. It's true.
Yeah, well, I'm with Squarespace, and if I would really like, so if they would sponsor me, because yeah, I do pay full price, but
One of the few things you pay full price for. I'm with Hawkstinger. They had a crazy deal, man. I got it for real cheap. It's actually a really easy website builder. It's very similar to Squarespace and that. But yeah, I did a lot of research before I built lancelotbears.com, and it was made sense for me.
Oh yeah, no, I think like yeah, I think most subscription, if you're paying, is because it does help you. It does save you time. Like sometimes, like for me, thumbnails. It used to take me a lot of time, and it wasn't. I think they weren't as good as the ones that I've been doing for the last couple of months. I'd say I'm on.
I'm
No,
glad you
probably
think
been
that.
more than that. Yeah, exactly. My click through rate would disagree, but but yeah, it's I think that like the now that I've been using AI a bit more to do my thumbnails, I've saved a lot of time and I'm getting a similar, if not better, result. So obviously for me, it makes sense. But so yeah, it's all about finding like if paying $25 a month saves you hours of work every month, to me it's worth it because I'm a one man show, like I'm a one-man company. So it's a lot cheaper to pay for a subscription and spend 15 minutes on something. When I say 15 minutes, I spend way more time than that on my thumbnails still today. But I mean, like it's a lot cheaper to do that than to hire someone. So yeah, depends on but depends on the size of the business too. Like for big businesses, it's much better to have someone that's in charge of something because it's not just about doing the task, it's about taking on the responsibility. Like if you're producing thumbnails, like for big channels and you're posting like regularly and stuff, like having someone who's in charge of thumbnails and that's their job, and it guarantees that it's going to be first of all high end stuff, and second of all on brand every single time. Like that's worth it. But for people like you and I or up and comers, sports videographers, there's obviously limits to what you're going to invest into hiring freelance, graphic, motion graphics people and sound people and all that sort of stuff. So if you can pay just a little bit of money to bring in resources that are going to make your life easier, then I'm all for it.
You know what? All these subscriptions, the way you got to look at it is it, are you buying back your time?
Mhm.
And buying back your time, it's worth it. If it's going to save me time, it's going to make my client happy, it's going to make me more productive, then I will buy the tool. And we live and learn, right? There's tools that we buy that we don't end up using and we don't need. So that's where you have to decide is, am I going to buy a monthly subscription, or some of them have a yearly subscription? And it's very hard right now with AI to buy a yearly subscription because it's forever evolving. There could be a newer AI that comes out that I might start using instead. Like I could use
Hmm.
Gronk that does the same thing as a Chat GPT. You know,
Yeah.
there's different tools. So find the one that works for you. Find the one that's going to save your time. And yeah, even us, I would like to lower my subscriptions because the way that everything is made nowadays is they want you to pay little amounts every month to use these tools, and they add up when you look at it. You know, oh, maybe that's what I was thinking about, how much I spend a year on subscriptions. Maybe that's where I got the 1,500. Uh, is you
Makes
all
more
of a sudden all
sense.
these subscriptions add up, and you're like, what am I actually using? What am I not using?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The key is to keep track and make sure that you're not paying for something every month that you're not using. So like that's a start monthly, definitely, if it's something that you don't know how much of it you're going to use in the future. And then if you see that you're actually using it on a regular basis and you don't see yourself going without it, then yeah, you can then save money and go with the yearly subscription. Like my G drive, like I'm going yearly. Like it's not like I'm going to use it for 3 months and then stop. So yeah, just being smart. Same thing with my Adobe suite. Like it's not like there's months where I'm not using it. So for those, I can go yearly without any hesitation. But for everything else, yeah, be baby steps.
But some of the AI stuff is expensive. Like Topaz is like $400 something for the year, and they only have a 6-month and 12-month membership. You can't pay monthly. So it is really, really tricky. And now that I'm trying to organize all this stuff and seeing how much I'm spending on subscriptions, I will be cutting back on some of my subscriptions. I don't need all these subscriptions. But if I have an issue that I figure it is cheaper to buy a new subscription or buy a new tool to fix my problem, then I will do it. And that's what all these tools are. Find the right one for you, figure out what you need. And if you have to pay for it for 1 month and use it for that 1 month and then to cancel it, do it. But as long as it solves your problem, it'll be worth it. All right. And that's it
for finish. The only thing is I kind of felt the way you were talking, like this is a great way to kind of finish the episode. So I was like, if that's what he's thinking as he's saying it, this is gonna rhyme. There's gonna be a rhyme at
no,
the end.
I don't have a rhyme today. I don't have no AI rhyme today. I'm very, very sorry. No motivational speech or anything. It's just like, I'm just looking at my own subscriptions and thinking, what is it that I really need?
Yeah.
And that's
don't waste your money.
That's it. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Game Day Claire. Take care, guys.